The answer for the abolition of the Khilafah on the 3rd of March 1924 is located in a place called India. But even the Indian scholars of Islam are not aware of it. Even they are not aware of it. When the attack on the Khilafah was taking place in the 1916, 17, 18 period, then Indian ulama, at that time the Indian Muslim community was one of the most influential Muslim communities in the world. And the Indian Muslim community was led by leaders who knew Islam and lived Islam. Men like Maulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar, Maulana Shaukat Ali, Maulana Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi, Mufti Kifayatullah, men who knew Islam and lived Islam. And they wanted to get rid of British imperial rule in India, so that when they got rid of the British, they could restore Islamic rule over Muslims. That's all they wanted. And so they established a movement which they call the Khilafat Movement, Harakatul Khilafah, the Khilafat Movement. When they established the Khilafat movement and it began to mobilize the Muslim masses, the body which was sleeping is now waking up for revolutionary struggle to preserve the Khilafah in Istanbul. We also want the Hindus, we want to get rid of the British, and we want to restore Hindu rule over the Hindus. So there's a conversion of interest here. So Gandhi, who later became known as Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhi approached the leadership of the Khilafat movement and he said to them, listen, the same thing you want, the same thing I want. So why don't we join forces? Will you allow me to join the Khilafat movement? This constituted the most dangerous of all threats that Western civilization have ever experienced in its entire period of colonization of mankind. Because the Western objective was to demolish every existing state structure in the world and replace it with the secular state, so that eventually the secular state could be brought under the umbrella of a League of Nations and eventually a United Nations, and this would be political globalization at work. Between 1920 and 1924, the Khilafat movement was building up steam at an alarming rate. And by 1924, the British had calculated, we have to get rid of this Khilafat movement. And the only way we can think of now is to abolish the Khilafah. And so they put the pressure on Mustafa Kemal. As soon as the Khilafat was abolished, the Khilafat movement in India began to lose steam.
In 1918, Maulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar and Maulana Shaukat Ali launched the Khilafat movement to protect the Ottoman Empire. Gandhi linked the issue of Swaraj with the Khilafat issue to associate Hindus with the movement. Muslims and Hindus worked side by side to boycott British goods and British law. Large protest rallies were organized throughout the subcontinent. In 1922, when the movement was at its climax, Gandhi called it off, making the excuse that some national volunteers were responsible for the murder of 21 policemen in the Chora Chori incident.
In that same year, the secularly minded, the brown-skinned Englishmen parading as Muslims, of whom the prince of them all was the grandfather of the present Aga Khan, Karim Aga Khan's grandfather. They now restore an organization called the All India Muslim League. The All India Muslim League is led by men who don't know Islam and don't live Islam. And these are the people who now wage a struggle for the liberation of the Muslims from British rule to be replaced, not with rule of Islam, oh no, but rather by the rule of the secular Republic of Pakistan and the secular Republic of India, so that Pakistan and India could be embraced within the community of secular nation states.
On June 3rd, Mountbatten secured the consent of the Congress and the League leaders to the British government plan of setting up two independent dominions on August 15th, 1947. The Congress Working Committee disliked the partition of India, but it could not let India bleed continuously and accepted the plan. Gandhi was steadfastly opposed to the division of India, and yet he urged the members to support the decision with full faith in their leaders. On August 15th, the appointed day, people gathered to welcome the dawn of a new age and witness the peaceful transfer of power. Lord Mountbatten became the first Governor-General of the Dominion by the will of the sovereign people of India. The first session of the All India Congress Committee after the attainment of freedom declared its faith. Our aim has been to develop this great country as a democratic, secular state. Values were changing fast under the impact of events.
But of course you had to put a little red herring to fool the people. So you have to make it appear as though Pakistan is going to emerge as an Islamic state, but that's just dust in their eyes, to fool those who see with only one eye.
Citizens of Pakistan, it is with feelings of greatest happiness and emotion that I send you my greeting. August the 15th is the birthday of the independent and sovereign state of Pakistan. It marks the fulfillment of the destiny of the Muslim nation, which has made great sacrifices in the past few years to have its homeland. We stand by the United Nations Charter and will gladly make our full contribution to peace and prosperity of the world. Let us on this day humbly thank God for His bounty and pray that we might be able to prove that we are worthy of it. As loyal citizens of Pakistan, they have nothing to fear. To the states beyond our borders, we send our greetings and assure them that Pakistan will extend to them its most friendly cooperation in preserving peace.